Okay, OxFit podcast. We are here with Pranav, one of our, I guess, EAV OGs. You've been at EAV for a good bit of time.
Since the beginning, I think. Yeah, relatively since the beginning. And I don't know, I mean, am I also one of the Grant Park OGs? I mean, I've been with you all since, I think, at least 2017, because that's when I moved to Grant Park. And when did you guys open here?
The Grant Park location has been here since, I mean, they've been operating as a gym here since like 2016.
Okay.
I kind of forgot you started at Grant Park, actually.
Yeah, I used to live on Kendrick, so...
Okay.
Yeah. So this was sort of easier and closer, so yeah.
Yeah.
So 7 years, and 8 years, so yeah, I can be sort of the year one OGs.
Yeah. And then you moved to EAV when the new location opened. Did you move?
Yeah, I moved to Candler Park, so that was relatively easier. So, you know, I bike or or drive to.
Easy. Okay, so I should have looked at that. I should have looked up, because if that's the case, you're probably on Wodify. I can look up, you know, a list of members by like term of membership or whatever, and I always like to see who's been around the longest, because sometimes I kind of forget, just because you see like familiar faces all the time and you forget how long they've been here. But you've definitely been here longer than me, so has it been cool to just see the transformation of the gym from kind of when it started to what it's become now?
No, it's been amazing to see the transformation, and I think one, it's been just impressive, right? Like I think and Lauren and sort of the community they have built, like the team, right? Like you, Caitlin, the rest of the coaches, sort of that community you guys have built, and then also just the expansion, right? I think if I think about it, you know, starting from just this gym with sort of the smaller footprint to now having 2 locations. And in fact, I think the EAV location launched during the pandemic, right?
Yeah, so, right before it started.
Yeah. I remember Ant did this drive of, you know, everybody would collected some kettlebells to take home for at-home workouts. But yeah, it was like morale was down for a little while, right? Because it was scary times. The world was so uncertain. And obviously for, you know, all small businesses, it was such a scary, uncertain time. But I think you guys came out much stronger as a result. And like now that EAV location is sort of like booming, right? So yeah, it's been really well. And it's been very, fulfilling to see those two succeed and you guys succeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think there's been, do you feel like you ever noticed like a difference in style of workout, or do you feel like it was just kind of like a natural flow? Because from the time I joined, I would say it was, the style was a little bit different. We definitely were using like barbells more, but I never noticed like, I just feel like everyone just kind of grew with the gym, like going through these changes, like trying new equipment. Like we got rid of these type of bikes and got new bikes, and we got sleds, and like, I don't know, it's cool to reflect, and like I look at old pictures of the gym, and like here at Grant Park we used to have the GHDs like lined up on the wall. I don't know if you were here when those were here. So yeah, just seeing like that change as well. And like
I mean, you don't notice it, I think, as a day-to-day. Now that you're talking about it, right, I can always think about how even the class structure, right? Like I think in the last few years we have started to spend a lot more time in the first half of the class warming up, you know, getting our bodies flexible, ready to go, and also, you know, just networking and getting to know everybody. And then the next 30 minutes is really, you know, intense workout. I don't think we had that in the first few years. So you guys have found your rhythm. So it's been nice to see that.
So that kind of leads me to, I guess, 2 questions. So what made you back then, you know, seek out a gym and kind of settle on working out with OxFit? And then what kind of keeps you here? What makes you, you know, the Pranav we all know and love? We love seeing you every day, and keeps you coming back.
I think honestly, so I used to live in Virginia Highlands in a rental accommodation back then, right? So used to go to a gym there. I think I've always been motivated to, you know, try to get better, try to be fit, because, you know, the few years before then, I was in a very intense work program where we used to work 18 hours a day, and I did that for like 4 years, traveled the world. So I gained a lot of weight, and that prompted me to join sort of a CrossFit gym in in like the Midtown area on the Beltline, right? But at that time, I never felt the community there. And that was my biggest frustration, because I would go there 2-3 days a week, middling. But even after going there for 3-4 years, I didn't know anybody outside of the, owner's name. Like I didn't know anybody in class, right?
Yeah.
They were not very, friendly. And I think if you know me, I'm kind of like, it takes me a while to sort of open up to people. So, coming here and having, Ant and the team sort of force everybody to introduce themselves, get to know everybody. So that was very helpful. So I came here based on sort of, seeing that intrinsic focus on community and then the initial reviews. And I think what's made me stay is just, one, like for selfish reason, just the personal progress and, physical improvement in physical and mental fitness that this gym has brought. And then the community, right? Like I'm a regular in the 8 a.m. moms class, which we call it affectionately as moms class, because it's a lot of, mothers and, women who, obviously have a lot of responsibilities outside of, the gym. But, we obviously provide them an avenue to come and work out. But they are always open to have, the guys
Brandon.
Me, Brandon, and Josh are sort of the 3 OGs there. And, that class is like, if you ask Caitlin, right, it's the most popular. I mean, you tell me, but I think it's one of the most popular
it is.
classes,
I know.
right?
She always like sends a video. She's like, look how crowded my mom's class was today. Look how much fun we had.
18 people after July 4th, yesterday, the Monday, right? So it's super popular. So, if we've built that natural community, if somebody doesn't come for a few days, everybody asks where that person is. So that makes you want to come back, because you're like, okay, these people are going to miss us. And I know a lot of those people actually have started to build friendships outside of the 8 a.m., right? Like a lot of them have kids in the same age group, so they do pool parties, etc. Maybe invite me once. But, no, it's awesome to see that community, and that's made me stay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how long were you having OxFit as your routine of just... coming to work out and join the community before you made the transition to doing the Ox 100 program? Because I think that was kind of a big turning point for you, at least in like the performance I see on Wodify. And, Ant is always so proud of like, sharing progress pictures and things like that.
It took me a couple of years. I think you guys started, with Ox 30, which was the 30 days. So I did that, I think the first or second year it launched, and that was awesome. I think I've always, I work out, regularly. I also love to bike. I bike to work most days. So, I think there's nothing missing on the work side, the working out side. Where I think I lacked the knowledge was the nutritional part, and just being accountable to myself around discipline, around eating clean and eating at the right level, right? And I think what I did for the first couple of years was try to solve that problem just by working out. And I think I started Ox, and then, Ant was like, let's do Ox 100. And, for the first time, just listen to me, right? Because, I read a lot about all this. So I was like, I know the answer. It's just going to be working out more. If I eat, I have to just work out more. And Ant was like, no, you don't need to work out more. It's literally 80% diet and 20% working out, right? And so this year I did Ox 100, right? And I'd say I probably did Ox 60. But even in those 60 days, it was like night and day in terms of the change in my sort of fitness level, my agility, my strength, right? I've always been relatively fast, but the strength portion was always lacking. And I've had PRs across the board. I could do like maybe 2-3 pull-ups. I can do, 20 at a time now. So that's just been very like self, makes me very proud and makes me very motivated. So that's been awesome.
No, I love to hear that. Yeah, your transformation was amazing. I want to I'll try to link the photo if you don't mind, if I post it.
I'm still working on it.
It's just wow, Pranav's buff. What the heck? Now, you were always, like you said, I thought of you as like this really fast, like agile, like Pranav is going to crush these cardio workouts. And then I'd see you bench pressing and back squatting. And I was like, Pranav's coming for y'all for these strength and ripped days too.
Yeah. And, the thing is, right, like I would have been fast. I thought I was fast, but I don't think I was necessarily like strong fast or agile fast, right? Like, I think there was still an underlying weakness there because I was just thin and fast. And what happened as a result of that, right, was like last year I got between, I think, work and exercises and, other stuff I've developed it over the last few years, just from, prior gyms, etc., like a lower back issue. And it got aggravated. And Ant knows, for a month, I couldn't come to the gym. I couldn't walk. And I had to do, 10, 20 physiotherapy sessions, very intensive sessions. So coming in, I was already very, I had a lot of trepidation and hesitancy around, can I, get back to my baseline and then become stronger? But between the modifications Caitlin and Ant gave, and then just focusing also on that nutrition part, it sort of helped me build that lower back strength, which helped me get better.
Yeah. I think that's something maybe people don't think about a lot of times. Is they think the nutrition challenges, whatever it might be, and at gyms is just for the sole purpose of losing weight and looking a certain way, which is going to be a byproduct of working out and eating right. But it's also really helpful for people that want to rehab those injuries and build the necessary muscle to allow them to continue to do things. My last, or a couple episodes ago with Yona talking about how now she's able to actually enjoy running again because she's not getting these same lower extremity injuries from running because she's building all the necessary muscle here in the gym and she's eating enough protein and she's just taking care of herself as a whole. So that's a really good point you bring up for...
I mean, even running, right? Like, I've never liked running. I kind of try to get it out of the way. And I think, back in the day, I was just skinny fat, that term where you think you're skinny, but you have fat around, your stomach, etc. And just focusing on that nutrition part, I've also gotten better at running, right? 6 months ago, I couldn't run half a mile with holding a conversation. And now I can, talk and run. And I used to, back in the day, blame it on my, seasonal asthma and all. But, it's, I think, that nutrition part, which has strengthened the lungs as well and sort of all the muscles in the body, which is helping me, get better at every other thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just giving you more energy to be able to get through it. Because at a certain point, if you're constantly working out every single day, like you said, biking to and from work, on the weekends when we don't have class, you're going for a run or a long bike ride. At some point, you're just kind of chipping away at yourself and you're not, you're not fueling properly. And I think that's another thing that I know Ant and Caitlin are really good at helping people understand. You guys work hard here. And if you want to come 6 days a week, that's awesome. But you probably need to eat a little more than you think you do. Did you run into that?
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, a lifetime of just telling myself, I don't need to, I shouldn't be eating much because I gain weight. And I think it's also cultural, right? I grew up in India and Indian food can be very, I would say, starch heavy and carb heavy. And I think a balanced Indian diet is good, but we don't really think of it growing up in the sense of, macro mix, hitting a certain macro level. And at the level of intensity of workouts here, right? It took me a long time with Ant drilling it in my head that, no, you need this to replenish your muscles, build your muscles. And even now, there are some days where I'm like, oh, I ate too much yesterday. I need to eat less today, right? So I have to always remind myself that, no, you have to feed your body because you're also biking 6 miles today.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a journey. It's going to take time, but I mean, I've seen the results. So hopefully, it's going to be easier now.
Yeah. That'll be the motivation to make you.
Yeah.
And Ant's loud voice in the back of your head telling you to eat more.
Yes.
But yeah, that's cool. So going back to, I don't know if I realized that you grew up in India. I didn't know that. So what was that a big shift for you to incorporate exercise in your daily routine, going to a gym? I don't know if you know, my partner's Indian.
I didn't know he was Indian though.
And so
did he grow up in India as well?
He didn't. He grew up here. But we talk about that a lot. And even maybe not my parents, but like my grandparents' generation or whatever, it's strange for some people to have like, I have to go to the gym every day.
Yes.
Like that is not something that even like lives in their brain as like, so yeah, we talk about that a lot.
It's, discretionary expenses. Why are you spending money on a gym? Just go for a walk. Right?
Yeah. Why are you complaining about not having time? Just don't go to the gym today. It's like, that's not an option.
Yeah, that's not
I've got to go work out.
No, it was, I've always wanted to be, like just physically active. So I think thankfully that was natural for me and my parents sort of encouraged that. But growing up in India, it's a very different culture, at least in the 90s when I grew up, right? Like our, schools used to have 30 minutes physical training hours, but it was not regimented or structured in a way where you are telling people, hey, you got to get better at this particular sport, like I see in the US. So I had to like consciously push myself. No, you got to, go to a gym and get better at something. So yeah, definitely I had to push myself to learn that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting just to see that like difference and how like culturally something can change in just like such a short period of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you start working out every day and paying attention to your nutrition, there's like no going back after that.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is just the mental, positive feedback it gives you, right? Like I don't like not working out now most days, right? Like even on the weekends, I go for a bike ride because it gives you time to decompress, think about, the problems you're like, I have a very busy job. Most days it's very intense but, bike rides home or at the gym just gives you that 1 hour to think of problems in a different way. And even today, like just biking back home, I thought of an alternative to a problem I was running in today at work and quickly called my team and, was able to solve it, right? So it helps you get that downtime, which otherwise we don't give ourselves because otherwise, social media and all that will just take that time away.
Yeah, it's that, designated time where you're forced to think about yourself and you don't have your phone on the floor and everyone there is focused on the same goal.
No, I love that you guys, force people to put your phones away for an hour. That's actually a pretty big deal. Most gyms, people are on TikTok or recording all their workouts on the phone. Yeah. And
that's something I work on that too, because sometimes as a coach, I'll see people on their phone. I'm like, and I was like, no, like this is important. This is something I believe in. Like we should all be able to unplug for an hour and like get that benefit as well.
Yes.
Even though I know everyone has something, but it's so just impactful to have that for yourself.
100%. Yep.
But yeah, so great year for you.
Yeah, no, awesome year. And I'm very excited working with Ant on, further coaching, sort of, I would say, expansive coaching, nutrition, workout, career. So, want to continue to use him as a coach and get better at things.
Yeah. Did you ever think you would have or like be seeking out like a coach in your life? I feel like as adults, yes, you have, coaches of workout classes you attend, but as in terms of like a one-on-one nutrition or lifestyle or just physical fitness coach, did you ever picture yourself having someone in that position, like in your life?
I mean, the connection is natural, right? Like you would think, because I've always been in corporate America, right? So I've always had mentors and people who have coached me on my career. You would think the transition from that to having a coach in your sort of fitness regimen would be the same, but it isn't. So, having Ant, through the Ox 100 process, start to have that dialogue and tell me, hey, you can actually have a coach for stuff outside of work, right? That's been very impactful.
Yeah, that's something that that was opened my eyes just being here and being around this team or just in the gym is that, it's okay to have someone guide me that's not my boss or not, a parent or something like that. It's okay to ask for help and just have someone to work with to achieve your goals.
Yeah. I think also like an accountability partner, right? Like some days or some weeks, right? They're just hard, right? Like my entire family was in town from India and my sister from Canada, right? And like loved the time with them for a month, but it's very hard to balance spending time with them and then work and then gym and then eating right.
Yeah.
So I told Anne, look, it's not going to happen for like 2-3 weeks. I'm going to try my best, but, it's going to be sort of, not daily macro counting. But, he understood, and we're back on track now this week. And that's been nice. And I think that's where that accountability equation really helps.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you, what couple pieces of advice do you think you'd have for someone that is on the hunt for a gym, maybe has a need for that personal accountability coach in their life or help with nutrition? So what would you say about your experience in OxFit and what you think that could do for someone?
I think this is more than a gym. And I know, it can be very cliched when people say it, but, I think if you're looking for sort of community and sort of a journey to sort of mental and physical fitness beyond just, looking good for the camera, but, being able to shape sort of your, let me think of, how to phrase it. I think most gyms can make you, buff or make you lean and make you look good. What I'm trying to say is, I think if you're looking for in sort of, the world we live in where it's very hard to form connections, everybody's running from work to social events to taking care of their kids to soccer practice. If you're looking for 1 hour of the day where you can give time to yourself and have that mental and physical space to improve yourself as well as build community, I think this is a phenomenal place. And I would say 90% of gyms don't do it because the owners themselves don't necessarily believe in that mission or journey. And I think the way and the team have sort of, one, found the right people to spread that mission, plus also, live that vision has been, great. So I would tell everybody, if you're looking for that, you'll find it here.
I love that.
Yeah.
I found that here too and decided to start working here. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for chatting with me today. I love hearing about your journey. I love watching you crush it over in East Atlanta. And
more to come.
I will get over there to do some workouts with you soon.
Awesome. Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
Thanks.